can, don't have to make club and then just look at everywhere. That is there for me, yes. I should know what. You comfy? We're muted. Oh no, we're not muted, sorry. We're not. We have to be extra polite, my girl. Remember, there is laws. Right, how on earth are we going to get that to be pointing at both of us? No, not yet. Right. Okay, let's stop the cat and let's start the video. Hey, and let's stop the screen share. How are we? The screen share stopped, but I haven't actually put the correct thing on to share yet. So let's do that first. There we go. And then, right, that looks like we're okay. What I can't do is see if I can see you as well. Hold on tight. Is that okay? That's probably enough. We don't need to really see you that much. Hey. Right, hi guys. Welcome to the last one of the term. At the moment, as always, you should all be muted. Can't see you, can't see your cameras. It's a safeguarding thing for your own protection. I am Dave. I'm one of the tech leads at Redgate, and I am joined with my colleague.
I'm Owen. I'm a software engineer.
Who we can't hear.
Can you hear me?
Cool.
I think everyone else heard me, but maybe not you.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just realising that I tried to fade the music out, which I did. Well, of course, that means my computer was still on mute. And I'm joined with my daughter, Tessa. And we're even matching. This is how sad the world is for us, or for you at least.
It's not sad, it's enjoyable.
It's enjoyable, even better. Look at that, fantastic. You have some sweeties later for saying that, I'm sure. Okay, so first of all, links. Owen, are you able to, do you have the links? We are going to be looking at synchronized swimming.
So that's a link to the guide in the chat. And then this is a link to a new Scratch project if you're not good already.
So give people just a minute to catch up, and we're doing, I think I've already said, if not, synchronized swimming. So you asked about the cat. What did you just ask?
Is the cat called synchronized? Because I don't know.
No, synchronized means to do things at the same time.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's not sync your eyes. I know it's swimming, but the eye, and you can see the eyes, yes, but you're not supposed to sync the eyes. The idea is with synchronized swimming, it's where you have two or more swimmers, and they all swim in the same way at the same time.
Can we do that in real life?
We can. I don't know whether you want to see me dancing in a swimming pool.
Never.
There we go. Awesome. Let's begin. So I'm hoping everyone has a window like the one I'm sharing. we will make the cat. So the first thing we are going to need to do, we want the cat to be able to move with the music, and we are going to help control that, which means, yes, we are going to find some music for this. And I hope somebody and everybody has some music on the computer. If not, I'm sure there's a way we'll work around that. Usually I prepare really well. On this one, I didn't get that far into it, although I have read through it all, which is obviously why I know there's music. So the first thing we want to do is make our cat have the opportunity to appear in water. So that means...
We need water.
Yep. So what could we do to the stage, the white background? What do you think we could make it?
Blue.
Dave, I'm not sure if your screen share's on.
Ah, beg your pardon. Thank you. Oh, no, it's not. Look at that. Screen 3. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Alistair, for pointing that out as well. Okay, so hopefully you can see the screen now. Is that right, Owen?
Yeah.
Awesome. So what did you say? What colour are we having our swimming pool?
Blue.
Blue. Okay, so in order to do that, we are going to click on our stage. So in the right-hand side, we have the option for backdrops, etc. But at the top, there's a little square. And that is the stage. So we should be able to just click on that square. And at this point, we can then, so we've clicked on the stage and you can see the whole stage is highlighted. It's selected and shown in blue or outlined. And then at the top over here, we have these tabs, code, backdrop and sounds. Do you know which one we need to go to?
Backdrops?
Well done. Awesome. So we clicked on backdrop. So our stage has been selected. We click backdrops and look, there it is. Usually these things are, you can see this kind of checkered pattern with grey and white. That indicates transparency, which means it doesn't actually have background colour. You can actually see through it, but you can't see through your screen because it's obviously a thing. So they have to put a white colour or that thing. It's a little bit confused. Shall I just stop confusing things? Yes. Yeah, sorry, it hasn't changed yet. I haven't done a thing. Justina, don't worry, we've only just begun. So just for yourself, I'm going to say again, we've just clicked on stage. Sorry, the links are already in that chat window. You should be able to see it. I click stage, and then I have this window. So I'm going to click at the bottom, this button called Convert to Bitmap. Oh, sorry, Justina, so I hadn't actually made it clear. I clicked on stage. I then clicked on backdrops. Okay, now I'm going to click on Convert to Bitmap. Bitmap, yeah. So in other words, turn it into a type of picture we can work with.
Dave, I'm not sure your screen share's updating properly.
Can you see that move?
No, nothing's moving on your screen.
Okay, let's try this again. Thank you. Right, so. Right. Can you see the backdrops tab open?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Sorry, everybody, I will share. I have another scratch open at the same time to help me to go through, which was actually the final product. So you could have, they could have all cheated. I'm sure they didn't. Okay, in case people didn't see what I did, I'm going to just show again. I started here. I clicked on stage on the right-hand side. Click. Up here, can you remember which one?
It was the backdrop.
Yeah, the middle tab, backdrops. And then down here is a button which says Convert to Bitmap. Mine says Convert to Vector. That's because I've converted it already. Actually, if it means vector and bitmap, it's actually a rasterized image or a vector image. And it depends on how the image itself is created, which will have scalability.
Interesting.
You have no interest in that at all, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've clicked on Convert to Bitmap. We've now got the option. So now we should be able to colour. So let's choose a fill colour. So up here, we have it. Now, you like purple? Not a very good colour for a swimming pool, though, is it?
But you could dye the swimming pool.
We could dye the swimming pool, that's true. But let's go blue. Oh, that's quite a nice blue, that one. How was that? Can you see the blue up here?
Yes, I can.
What do we think?
Looks good.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Fine, in that case.
Can
And
you actually have waves?
waves, it could do, but we don't want to do that today. It'll take too long. So I'm going to click on the option here for the fill, which looks like it's supposed to be a paint bucket being tipped. So I'm going to click on that. And then
I'm just going a bit fast.
oh, sorry. Sorry, let me restart, let me re-explain. So we clicked on stage. We then moved to the backdrops. So in the top left, you've got code, backdrops, sound. We were on backdrops. At the very bottom, there should be a button which says convert to bitmap. If you can see the button convert to bitmap, then please click it. If not, if it says convert to vector, spot on. That's exactly what it should do. But if it says convert to bitmap, just click on the button once. Okay. Then, after you have converted it to a bitmap, we are going to choose the color. So within the same screen, mine started, what was the color it started on? Can you remember?
White. Chocolate.
No, that box at the top.
White. It was white.
Pink. Purple.
Purple. That
Purple.
was it. My favourite colour.
Yes, that's your favourite colour. So I went up here in the fill box and I just used the sliders until I found the blue. Then I used the saturation to say, do I want it a very blue colour or like a lighter, washier blue?
Light is only in the shallow part, but the deep part has to be dark, just when you're swimming in the sea.
Yes, very true. The deeper in the sea, the darker the blue is. Yeah, totally agree. But this is a swimming pool, so we kind of get away with that a bit. And then the brightness is clearly how bright it is. So if we move it down here, you can see deep blue sea, the scary blue sea, and then at the top, the nice blue sea they have in Disney. Okay, I then, oh, can I undo that? Yeah. We click on the fill icon. And the fill icon, I mean, you can see in your toolbar here, you've got 8 icons. There's one which should look like a paint can being tipped over. It's on the right-hand side of the 2 columns and the third one down. So we click on it. And then we click anywhere in this
area.
Yeah, so where the squares are, click. And look, our cat now has...
Walking in blue.
He's walking in blue, or she.
He hasn't had a baby yet.
Right, I'm not even going to have that conversation. Okay, so what we now need to do is we have to get rid of our cat.
Yay! Is that supposed to be sad?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Okay, JF, your screen has crashed. If you're not, when you say crashed, are you able to move between sounds, backdrops and code, or does nothing respond at all?
You don't need to look out after it.
I have to restart. My paint doesn't respond. Okay, so we've got a couple of questions. Let's see if Jeff wants to close just the browser screen and then open up a new one, and hopefully you'll be able to click the links which Owen already shared. Just in us, my paint doesn't respond.
Not bad, really. Come on, life.
Do you see these 8 icons? And if so, have you selected the same one I've got clicked? Cool. And do you have a fill color here which isn't white? Well done, JF. Okay. So you've got a fill color. You've got this selected, and it says convert to vector at the bottom. Cool. You made the fill color. It's blue. Brilliant. And it definitely says convert to vector at the bottom. Can you, if you watch my mouse, at the bottom of the screen, you should see this little blue button which says convert to vector. Oh, how did you do that? Look at that. That was snazzy. So yes, that needs to say convert to vector. Awesome. Then after that, you should be able to click and it should color the lovely blue you've made. Owen, are we all good?
Yeah, looks all good.
Cool. We're going to do the next thing. If somebody wants to write no, if you're still not here yet, then do so. Otherwise, I'm going to proceed. And if I'm going too fast or too slow, just let us know, because we need to go at the right speed for you all. And if I end up going too fast at any point, just say, wait a minute, you know. Okay, so, yes, you asked about the cat, why we have to get rid. We're not actually going to really get rid.
Yeah, because I think we're going to make it again, but just
yes,
in different.
That's correct. That's correct. So, this, can you remember, it's a difficult word, what these things are called?
Right?
Yes. These are sprites, and within our sprite window, we should see something called sprite 1, which is the cat. I've clicked on it and it's taken up the whole screen because we still have our costumes tab selected. However, we need to get rid of the cat because we're choosing a different one.
Yeah, it's technically the same, but in a different movement. Like,
in a different position. Yeah, okay, you're quite right. So with sprite 1, I'm going to choose the cross, the little bin symbol. So I've chosen sprite 1 and I click the bin and he disappears, or she.
It's a boy.
Fine. Okay, now we need to find a new cat. So do you know what icon we need to click on? What does the icon look like?
The cattish one?
Yes. So
Thing.
the cat thing. So what was this window called?
Sprite.
Yeah. So within the sprite window, we're going to find this cat, and as we hover, it even says choose a sprite. That's correct. Okay. So we can now click on that to choose a sprite. Wow, that is a lot of sprites.
Yeah, why don't you just use the donut? No.
The donut?
No.
Well, what did we want?
We wanted a cat.
Yeah, so these are actually alphabetical. So you've gone too far for cats. So they're the A's. Then the B's, and after B's are the C's.
So there's more cats.
Ah,
there
was one.
too.
Cat flying.
Cat. I thought it was supposed to be swimming.
Oops.
Flying.
So let me go back to where I was. So here is the cat flying. If you can't see it on your screen, you can either click on animals, I'm guessing. You can. Or you may be able to use the search and guess what you would type?
Cat.
Just cat. Make it easy. So I've just searched for cat, and the third one, for my screen at least, is the cat flying. So I'm going to single click on the cat,
Mhm.
and we now have a flying
Water cat.
cat.
I didn't know cats like the water, but they didn't.
I don't think cats like water either, but this is a special cat. Plus, it's in the water, and we've just chosen a cat that's flying. So something doesn't sound quite right.
Maybe if we tip it,
The cat or the pool?
the cat. How can you tip it?
Well, sorry, clearly a silly thing to suggest. You're right. I think the actions of flying
Yeah, it's like
could look a bit like the front
Swimming.
pool. Yeah,
paddling.
one of those. So that's what I think is going to happen. Okay. We now need to change the direction based upon the keys we press on our keyboard. So we're going to press either the left key or the right key, and depending on which arrow key we press, we need to change the angle. Yes? So this is important. I'm going to click on the cat flying sprite, not the delete, because we want to keep this one, but it has to be clicked. If you still have the stage, you shouldn't, everything won't work. So I've clicked on cat flying. If he's already selected, you can click it again. It's not going to do any harm. Okay? So can you see the cat flying now has the big blue box around it, and the word cat flying is also in the blue box. That means we know we have it selected. So, what do we need to do next? The first is we need to tell it to do something. Now, in this case, it's when a thing happens, such as the left. Do you know what that's called?
Event.
Yes, it's an event. So in this case, the event will be the left arrow. So when the left arrow event happens, we need to do a thing. Okay? What did you say it was? Events.
Events.
So events, what colour is the events?
Isn't it yellow?
Yeah. So on the left hand, so I have gone, first of all, in the top left where the tabs are, there's code, costumes and sounds. We need to make sure we have clicked on code. Okay, so we have selected our cat flying and the code tab is selected. Now we can click on events. No, controls. What did you say it was?
Events.
Events. Oh yeah, of course. Okay. And what we want is we want to say when a certain key is pressed. It's actually the second one down. So if I drag it, I've made these nice and big so people can see the shared screen.
Oh, it also looks.
Too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you put it down, does it look
Smaller again. I don't know. We'll find out. So yes, at the moment mine says when space key. So when the space bar key, when the space key is pressed. So let me let go. Okay, that's a bit too big, isn't it?
Yeah.
There we go. Hopefully that's still big enough. So when the space bar key is pressed, actually, if we want to move our character left and right, yeah, what do we want? We want to, which type of key do we think we want to use?
the right arrow key?
The arrow keys, spot on, absolutely spot on. We'll start with the left. Okay, so in this block, we can click the drop down, which I know is small on my screen, sorry. And it says which arrow did we want to start with? Not already.
The left.
So in here, there should be when left arrow. There we are. So mine now says when left arrow key pressed. Which way do you think we need to turn our cat, left or right, if we press the left arrow?
Left. It's easy. It's a left arrow, so it's left.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. So do you know what that category is or not? Not sure?
Not sure.
So this is what we call a motion.
Motion.
Yeah, not a motion sensor, although a motion sensor senses motion, movement. So motion is anything where we move or change the way. So which category is motion? What colour?
Blue.
Now, is it the light or the dark blue?
Dark.
Yeah, because there's two blues. There's the light blue for sensing and the dark blue for motion. And we need, I've forgotten already, what was it?
Dark blue.
Dark blue. A little bit faster. Awesome. Okay. Oh, no, going too fast and going faster. This is the why this is a little bit tricky to get the balance right for everybody. Thank you for shouting too fast, too slow. This is cool. We will try and keep somewhere in between the two. The idea is to keep people along as much as possible, but also to try and complete each session. Okay, so I do appreciate everybody being patient with each other with this. Okay, we said motion. So I'm going to click motion and I'm going to choose turn some degrees. Now, which arrow did we say, left or right?
Left.
And therefore, we need the one which points left. Okay, which way is your left? Do you know?
That way?
Yeah. Yeah, we do this at home. I don't know if you've ever done it, but one of those.
One of them looks like an L, also
An
stands
L.
for love.
But it also stands for left, so that's how you know it's your left. So on my screen, it is the third one down under motion. So I've clicked on motion, which is the top dark blue. Once, two, third one down. Okay, and I'm going to attach these two blocks. So I have said, when the left arrow is pressed, stop pulling faces at me. When the left arrow is pressed, we want to turn 15 degrees to the left. And then, in a minute, we're going to do the same with the right. So, Frank, you were saying a bit faster. Without any help, do you want to have a go doing the right ones? And then you'll have to wait while somebody else catches up. But see if you can work that out. In fact, anybody can do that, not just Frank. It's just Frank's mentioning speed. Okay. So we now have, when the left arrow key is pressed, that's the event, the key press, we want to turn our cat 15 degrees to the left. So if we press, instead of the left, we press right, guess what? We want to turn it
Right.
by how many degrees?
15.
Yes. So it's almost the same thing, other than we're now going right. So let's go back to events. And the second one down, which says, when space key pressed.
When space key pressed. Turn left.
Right.
Right, whatever.
So let's drag that out. When the spacebar key is pressed. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Now, within the drop-down list, you're right.
Yes.
When the space key is pressed, no. Was it, did you say the down arrow?
No, the right arrow. No.
Oh yeah, you are right, yeah.
Yes.
The right arrow.
I'm right.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right, it's right.
Yeah.
Or was it right?
Yep.
I was right.
No.
The
No.
right arrow, or the wrong arrow?
No, it was the right arrow, and
Because
it's right.
Yes, this is strange language, isn't it? Okay, so we have our left arrow turning left. This is a bit strange. I'm going to just move this to the other side. It's me being a bit, I don't know, special, just because the left arrow needs to kind of be on the left-hand side of the screen and the right needs to be on the right-hand side of the screen. Otherwise, that was actually hurting me to understand what I was doing. So the left, we turned left, the right, we're turning right. that was, can you remember the word or not?
Motion.
Yes.
Like motion sensor.
And and can you remember which colour circle it was?
Dark blue.
Yeah. So the very first one is dark blue. I'm going to click on that. And the second one down is to the right. And I'm going to drag that there. Okay. And we don't need to change the angle at the moment. I think that's just okay. So we'll give people just a second. To catch up. It's up there for you. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, of course. So what we can now do, I missed the background one. Justinas, do you mean that your background isn't blue?
Or did you actually not hear the background?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, well, I wait for that reply. Everybody else, we should be able to test. So I'm hoping, do you want to go? What happens if you press left and right?
It moves.
We'll have a go.
Okay. Whee! Oh, it's flipping.
Does both arrows work?
Yeah.
So long as if you press left lots. Oh, you're holding it down?
Yeah. Whee! I'm flipping. Oh.
Okay, that'll do. Otherwise, we'll never finish.
Oh.
Okay, we also need to be able to move our flying cat or swimming cat.
Downwards or upwards?
Both.
Yay.
We're going to do exactly the same thing. So, in order to move the cat, it's under what category?
Event.
Event. An event is a thing we did, like you. I say it all the time. I know. Tidying your room. Oh, you haven't even replied to that, have you?
Hey, my room's tidy today. You can back me.
Okay, so just this. It is blue, but without the code for the start. So if I've understood you, is if I click on my background, I have no code in it. So you shouldn't have any.
Dave, we've lost your microphone and video again.
Okay, am I back?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
My
Small,
fault.
don't worry, it's right, mistakes happen. We kicked the computer. Sorry, yes, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, okay, so Justinas, is everything okay? If you can just say yes or no.
God, he still can't hear us.
No, I think that's okay now, since we're not kicking the computer. Right, okay, so I'm going to click back on the cat flying. There we go. So we're going to add our up and down arrows, yes?
Yes.
So can you remember, what are they when we tell it to do something?
Event.
Event. Tidying your room is an event, doing the dishes is an event, helping with the chores is...
Hey.
Sorry.
Listen.
Okay, I don't even
When
want
I
to
was
talk
young,
about...
at
when
my
you were
aunt's
young.
house, whatever. When I was young, at the old house, I had a tea set and I used to clean it because I used to use it properly.
There's no answer to that.
Yeah, but it's actually really fun cleaning it. Isn't it?
Okay, so I'm going to drag the second one down from events again, which is when space key is pressed. So we're getting this a lot, aren't we? Let's drag that in. Ready? We can drop it. Right, we then can click on.
Space. Then
Well, we don't want space, do we? Which one do we want?
the up arrow.
Up arrow. You want to do up first or down? Up? You said up. Let's do up. So when the up arrow key is pressed, we want to move our cat a certain number of steps. So it's moving. And we've already said what moving is under. Do you
Motion?
Yes, motion. Can you remember the colour for motion?
Is it blue?
Yes, the dark blue. So the very first one is motion. And we want to find, oh, it's the first one in the list.
Yeah.
So I've clicked on the motion. I'm then going to drag, move 10 steps.
So you move 10 steps up. Because it's up.
Correct.
Dad, what I don't get is it says up arrow and then there's an arrow pointing down.
Oh, yeah, this is because the down arrow tells you can click on it to get the list appear below. It's not the direction in which we go.
I've got some with some audio problems.
Oh, I can't hear you, Dave. Okay, let me try something quickly. Can anybody? Most people can hear me. JF, have you possibly accidentally muted the computer? Oh, you can't hear me. Can Owen, can you just say hello?
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Just ask if he can. Yep, thank you. Let's just see if JF, did you hear Owen say hello? We'll do minus. I'm not sure what's happened to me. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeff. I don't know unless there is a mute icon. So if you're on a Windows computer, at the bottom there should be a sound option, and as you can see at the moment, it's got a little X that makes my computer muted. You should be able to unmute. That's the only thing I can think of. So well done, Justina seems to be a step ahead. So we've done the down arrow. No, we haven't. We've done the up arrow.
Yes,
Let's also
now
do the
it's
down
time to
arrow.
do the down.
So I'm really sorry, JF. I don't know what I can suggest at the moment. It may be.
Looks like you can hear us now.
Brilliant. Hopefully it was just a muting issue. So we're going to click back on events.
Events, like
And what do we want? Can you remember?
when
you can tell
down
me.
arrow
Yes.
key press.
Exactly the same as the others. Well done. Other than it's. Go on, you can do it. Have a go using that mouse.
Yeah.
No, remember it's a sideways mouse.
What?
Okay, let me do it. That's
Can I just write
No,
it in though?
it doesn't work that way. Okay, so we've now said when down arrow key pressed, and we're then going to move. Can you remember the category for move?
10.
No, that's how much. What category?
Motion.
Yep, so back to motion. And the very first one is move a number of steps. And we are going to move, as Justinas has already done, minus 10 steps. Now, whenever we make any changes to code, even small changes, we test. And we test and we test and we test. In fact, we test as we build, we test as we go, we constantly test. Do you know why?
Because it's easier.
It's easier to spot mistakes. And then if you can spot the mistakes soon, you don't have those bigger problems later on, or at least that's the theory. You can still have bigger problems later on. Do you want to see if the cat moves up, down, left and right?
Okay, let's see fun.
Blah.
Let's
Oh.
go.
Okay, just don't let him go too far off the screen. If you move your cat off the screen, I don't know how to get the cat back.
You have to just move it back.
But if you don't know
Use
where
the
it is
other
to move it, does the stop button? No, and the stop and start won't do that. Yes, please do not move the cat off the screen. I can't help you if you do that.
Up is down and down is up.
Off the screen, you change the,
It depends which way the cat's facing. So if it feels a bit weird, it's because when it's a flying cat, so when the cat is upright,
it
like
flies, and when it's still upright.
you can change where the sprite is there if you do move it off the screen.
Ah, thank you.
That's to 0, 0.
0, 0 is the middle. Yes, perfect. Yep, so if you press up now.
Wait, can I just do something?
If you can press up now, it'll go across, because up is the direction the cat is facing.
Wait, I want to do
Okay?
something.
Yeah, so no more.
Please,
The
why
cat.
just want to see it flying across?
No. Okay, that's the. There we are. Forward is the way it's facing. So next thing we need to do is change, because at the moment it still looks like the classic Superman one pose flying.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
So in order to change our cat, what do we need to change?
We need to change its costume.
Correct. So again, the cat is still selected.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to click the cat one more time to make sure. I'm then going to click on costumes. In the top left, you have, you could make clouds in the background, JF, but given this is going to eventually be swimming, it wouldn't make sense. But you could easily turn this into a flying game, absolutely. And in fact, if you remember, what was it? The skiing game where we made the cat interact with obstacles. You could easily have some clouds here and have obstacles in the way, and your cat has to fly past them. It's a great idea.
Daddy, I've got an idea. Since we're doing coding and we use Scratch, why don't we do coding when Scratch's coding?
We want to code a game with Scrap codes.
Yeah.
Oof, that's a little bit too meta for me.
But we could just put a computer there, a desk there, and we could just
Okay,
line.
so let's first of all work with the costumes. So I clicked on the cat flying, I clicked on costumes, and we can see we have our 2 costumes.
It actually moves over there.
What we want to do is actually delete the costume we've been using so far. No, yeah, perfect, thanks, Aaron. Okay, so we've got 2 costumes, 1 and 2. I'm going to select the first one. You probably can't see on this screen because it's very, very small text. The first costume is called, in fact, I can hardly see, I'm actually going to move up quite close, Cat Flying A. We don't want that.
We want cat flying B.
Only, but instead of just selecting the other one, we actually want to completely remove Cat Flying A.
So the B one will come the A. So
no, not a bee, it's a cat. A bee is a little bug which flies and collects honey.
No, but the one like A, B, C, D, E,
No,
F.
there's only A and B.
You are a nightmare.
Okay, so let's click on Cat Flying A, and I've clicked the delete icon. Okay. We now have this cat, and we've only got the flying bee.
The flying bee.
What we need to change is the name. We don't want it to be called Cat Flying Bee. We want this to simply be called right, and that means to the right, not it's right. So where I currently am, I'm hoping you can see my screen for a second and just watch what we do. Is we have costume to the right, we have the name Cat Flying Bee. So I've come in here, I'm going to press the backspace. You could do delete, you could select or whatever you prefer, and I'm going to just type the word right. And it doesn't matter if you don't spell it correctly for this.
What about? Can you do another name to like a much more nicer name instead of right?
But this is when our cat is facing right, so it may not be the nicest name to give it, but
Can
actually,
you go right, then name dot dot dot.
no, because it complicates what it means. The idea is with naming our sprites or variables to have a short enough. You don't always have to have a short name. A long name is okay, but a name which describes it as clearly as possible. So in this case, right is okay. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to click out of this box. So I'm going to click on my cat. The name in the first costume with the little preview in the top corner should now also say right. I'm going to, there's a lot of the word right here. The picture called right, I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose the top option called duplicate.
That's a
No, it's not a name of a type of
sorry,
bird.
I thought.
So do you know what duplicate means?
I thought it was a type of space thing. Duplicate.
No. Do you know what duplicate does?
Copy?
Yeah, it's essentially an exact copy. So I've right clicked and I'm going to choose the top option. I've got duplicate or export. I'm going to click duplicate. Well, the problem is our cat is facing right. And the first one was facing
Left.
no, they've all faced right. And that's the problem. This one needs to face left.
Okay, so we have to name it left and then it'll go left.
So I'm going to choose the new one, which is currently on my screen. It's called right 2. We can select right 2. Sorry, that's okay. Yep. And I'm going to choose to name it left. So hopefully in the top left you can see we have a right named sprite costume and a left named costume, but the character's the same. Okay, now,
Oh, it looks like he's sick.
yeah, he doesn't look very happy, and have I actually changed the colour? Oh, I must have done.
Yeah.
Okay. So, now, I'm going with the left cat selected. I'm going to choose flip horizontal. And look, the cat has flipped horizontally.
Mm-hmm.
So now, which way is he looking?
He's looking left.
Left, yeah. And if I click on right, which way is the cat?
Right.
Right. So I'm hoping everybody now has 2 costumes with a, what's the first one? A costume called right with a cat facing right, and a second costume called left with a cat faces
Left.
Easy. Okay, unless anybody says slow down, I'm going to proceed.
Or fasten up.
Okay, so I'm going to click on the code tab, and this is where we got to. So this is just about moving our character left and right. So when the, what is it? That's the door. Thank you. Sorry, door, post. When our left arrow key is pressed, so we will keep the foot away from the computer, sweetie. We want to do something, and I'm going to, we need to switch the costume, okay? So costume is about its looks. Can you remember what colour category looks were?
My favourite colour, purple.
That's right. So the second one down is looks. And in here we need to switch costume. It's the 5th one down. So I've clicked on looks in the code tab. I'm going to drag switch costume to, actually it already says left, which is handy. And I'm going to put this under the when left arrow key is pressed.
Turn left.
Actually, I'm going to put it before the turn left. So I'm actually going to insert it in between the 2. So it will read, when the left arrow key pressed, switch costume to left, and then turn 15 degrees, or turn left 15 degrees. Yeah? Guess what we're now going to do?
Press left. No,
No.
right.
We're going to do the same thing for
Right.
the movement to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th one down. Switch costume to, it says left, we can change that, don't worry. I'm going to find the event which starts when right arrow key pressed. I'm going to drop it in between the 2. And in the drop down, guess what I'm choosing? Right.
I'm right.
So, have a go, have a test. So let's just recap what we've done. We got rid of one of the costumes. We have created a new look for our cat, one where he's facing left and one where he's facing right. And we can drive this with the arrow keys. You know what we should be doing because we've done some work? Well, what do we always do after we do some work?
Eat sweets and junk food.
No, it's not that. What do we actually do?
Play.
Come on. No, oi. What do we actually do with the code?
Test.
Always test. So,
And
go on then.
play.
Go on then. And I know you don't ever want junk food again. Oh, sorry, I've selected the wrong screen.
Yeah.
So, no more junk again?
No.
No more sweeties?
No.
Come on then.
Oh, hello.
And what about the right side? Oh, so he does, or he does. Oh no, you were convinced it's a he or she.
It's definitely he. Because why would they name him Scratch if it's a girl?
So there we are. Okay, so up and down, and then up and down still does the same thing. It's not playing, it's a quick test. Okay, so I'm hoping people have had a quick chance to catch up and to play. So what we need is a team of cats. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. As you said at the start, what is synchronized swimming? It's when we have two or more swimmers doing the same thing, in this case, two or more cats.
So 2 more cats. Are they identical or are they not
In
identical?
this case, they'll be identical, but you don't have to have identical to be a synchronized swimmer.
Identical triplets.
Let's just, okay. You don't have to, there's no limit to how many make it up. You know, it could be 5, it could be 10, doesn't
It could be
matter.
25.
It could be. So what we need to do is we need to create a clone to create the copy, to do the things we want to do. So let's first add some code to make sure the cat always starts in the same position when we click the green flag. So what we're going to do is okay, so click the green flag test. Can you remember? If we click the green flag, what is that? It's an event. Well done. So we can click events, which is the, remember the colour? I've already clicked it, so you can kind of shoot.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yellow. So I've gone to yellow, and I'm going to drag the very first one when the green flag is clicked, and I'm just going to put this somewhere. It doesn't really matter where. And with this, we are going to go somewhere.
To the shops?
Sorry.
To the shops?
No, we're going to tell it to go to a certain place. So if it's going to a certain place, what does that sound like?
Motion.
Yeah, because you're moving. Can you remember the colour of motion?
Isn't it blue?
Yes,
Dark blue.
dark blue. So I'm going to click on the motion again, which is the dark blue one. And we should be able to see, go to X, and then a number, Y, and then a number. So I've clicked on the motion tab. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th one down. Go to X, Y, which I'm going to drop in here. Now, oddly, do you know what the exact middle, what the numbers are for the exact middle in this?
11?
No.
No.
Do you know, or are you not sure? Exactly in the middle are,
0, 0.
yeah, 0 for the X and 0 for
The Y.
the Y. Absolutely right. So go to X of
Y. No, 0, 0.
0. And the Y is also?
0.
Now, I've actually just typed in -0, which is a fantastic brand new number we've just invented. Let me just get rid of -0 and just call it 0. Okay, so we also need to point our cat in the right direction. That's actually still in the motion tab.
Is it?
It's the 8th one down.
8?
So in position 8, it says point in direction. So I'm going to drag that and put it after the go to X. Should we see? So let's move our cat to a different position. So nowhere near the middle if you can. Just move him so he's not near. Keep going that way so he's right up in the corner. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. That's it. So out the way, yes?
Wait, I need to get in
Okay.
the room.
And now if I press the green flag, he should go where? Where should he
Middle.
go? In the middle of this little thing. Let's see. Fantastic. And the cat should be pointing the right way. So, oops. I say the right way. Oh, there was a hand. What's happening? Sorry. How are we doing now?
Horizontal.
Oh, Owen's doing loads. Okay, for JF, when you are in this screen, do you first of all have a flip horizontal and flip vertical button? You can just say yes or no, or right, yes or no. Fantastic. So, as you can hopefully see, you should have you should have 2 costumes. I'm hoping you have 2 costumes. The top one should be called right, and the cat should look like it's about to go off to your right. I then click on, sorry, is that correct first of all? Do you have, is the first of your costumes called right, where your cat is facing right? Again, if you can just reply with a yes or no. Cool. Do you have, I'm assuming you have a second costume. Is this second costume called left? You can just say yes or no.
Yes.
And is the cat facing left?
No.
Great. Do you have a flip horizontal button? I'm not sure where. I think Owen has just made my screen select the colour where it should be. Cool. Okay, so you may need to find some time to go over the example later on. So now what we want to do is within the same block of code is we want to clone the cat. And in this case, the cat is called myself. Because we've only got 2 minutes, we'll try and do this last thing. So in this case, we want to control it. So within our control options, there is the option to repeat a number of times. I know we're following it. How many cats should we have?
3.
I think 3. Well, let's do 3 to start with, and then we'll change it to follow the actual guide. Oh, do we want to do that?
We could have 5. Don't know what one did.
Don't know actually. Okay, so I'm going to choose the forever loop, which is the 3rd one down. No, I'm not. Beg your pardon. Sorry, the second one down, the repeat loop. Sorry. And I'm going to put this after the point and direction. So we're saying when the green flag is clicked, basically center, get the cat to face the right way, and then repeat 10. I'm going to change that to 6. And whilst we're still under control, the second from the bottom is called create clone of myself. We're going to drag that into the space.
That'd be me instead of you.
There's only the option, I think, for myself, because myself is this. Okay. We're going to run over by just a minute and a half. We are then going to change all the cats and get them to turn a certain number of degrees. So I'm going to go back to motion. I'm going to find the turn, and I think we're going to turn right by 16. So I'm going to drag the turn by a number of degrees just before the create clone myself. We'll change this to 60. And as always, we then test. So, ready? I press the play button. Wow.
Looks like a cat star. Okay. Is it like spinning? Oh.
So now what I would like you to do is with the keyboard, can you try moving the cat and see if they all move together and different directions and angles? Can you see they're all working together?
I like the whole
Oh,
dance.
it's a little bit.
Oh, I like that bit.
There we are. And that's kind of what they do in the synchronized swimming, at least. Look at that. Fantastic. Well, the next step would be to add some music. I'm hoping, let me just copy and paste this link in. So this is where we got to. I've just shared a link in the webinar chat. Feel free to click on that and try and complete it yourselves. As I said, this is the last session for the term. I hope everybody has enjoyed it. A huge thank you to Owen for handling and for helping and supporting as always. You did quite well.
I did.
Fantastic. I will leave you with this. And I will possibly just add the sound if I can get that. So if you would like to leave, that's okay. I'm going to add the sound now and then hopefully leave you with that funny cat noise.
Yes, it's the cat noise. Wait, are we actually allowed to pick the song from scratch? Like
That's what I'm going to find out. I don't know yet. As I said, I only got this far. So I'm going to click on sounds. And then here, I should be able to... No, absolute welcome, guys. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Upload a sound. There we go. So then, I'm hoping... Oh, that doesn't look like there's any sound in there. Oh, no, 9Cat doesn't look very happy. I don't think it's worked. So, and I don't have any music which would be yeah, absolute pleasure. Alistair and George, awesome. Okay. In that case, what we could possibly do whilst we're here is let's do a quick search actually. Choose a sound. We'll go to loops. Let's do dance. Any good or not?
nah, I've had much more better.
Much more better.
Mm-hmm.
Education's great. Okay, let's have a look at another. Oh, I pressed a key on my keyboard. I don't know how I made that. So if I want to search, I'm going to click on loops. We're going to do this one. That sounds awesome. Okay. So then hopefully under costumes, oops, no, under costumes, sorry, back to code. I'm going to add another event. So I'm going to grab the green flag. I'm going to go back to control, and I'm going to leave the screen open. I haven't tried this, so I'm hoping this works. So I'm going to choose forever. And then I'm going to go to sound. And I am going to say, play the sound, oh my goodness me, until done. So what should happen is when the green flag is clicked, it will enter the loop and it will play the sound until it's done. It then moves and repeats and moves and repeats. So let's just try this, and if this works, I know, sweetie. This is dreadful.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. It looks like we're going to be on this for a while now, and we'll probably complete this ourselves. Right. I'm going to stop the cameras. I'm going to say goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us this term.
Hi, everyone.